What's going on, family? Good day to everyone. Welcome to Nkosi TV. I'm your host, Nkosi, and we're about to get into this thing right after this.
I'm on the ground in these Gambian streets, overcoming obstacles like a G. I got my feet in the sand on the beach. On the beach, yo. While the wind blows through the trees and the palm leaves, I can't explain this peace. Gotta get away from the drama, embrace my mama. Africa, so get your hands up, cause we about to turn up and we about to blow up. And we're screaming, Gambia, yeah. Gambia, Gambia, what you say now? Gambia.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nkosi TV. I am your host, Nkosi, and I'm happy that you were able to tune in on today. Today, I want to talk about being in the U.S. after staying in Africa, Gambia, West Africa, that is, for the last 3 years and 30 days. Okay? So I'm going to jump right into it, and mostly I want to talk about how I feel now, because those were some of the first questions that I was asked by those that are still in Gambia and even those that are here, members of my family, friends, so forth. The main question that I'm getting is, how do I feel? And for me, under normal circumstances, that would be an easy question to answer. It's actually a little complicated to answer because I feel like I'm emotionally thawing out. And when I say that, what I really mean is, when you're in Gambia, or let me just say me, when I was in Gambia, because I did not have immediate family there, I developed a mentality of survival. I had friends, also, many of you guys don't know that I'm no longer with my family. It's been 2 years actually since me and my ex has been together. So, that's another story, but I'll get into that. But developing a mindset of survival, having to get used to coming home by myself, and taking care of myself on a day-to-day basis without the aid or help of a partner, it just kind of, put my emotions on ice, to be honest, especially when it comes to interacting with family, and the warmy, fuzzy feeling that you get when you're dealing with loved ones and so forth and so on. So when I got back into the U.S., which right now it's been about a week and a couple days, it's hard for me to feel all the way, and I've kind of discovered that, I need to thaw out emotionally. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy to be back, mostly to see my loved ones. I talk to my dad all the time, even though he lives in another state. I'm going to get to seeing him. But my mom, I see my mom because she lives in the place that I came to. And so, talking to my sisters and my children and, those kinds of things are great. However, I don't feel like that I can fully experience the feeling of what that feels like just because I've gone 3 years and 30 days in a whole nother mindset, and Gambia is beautiful, man. It's a beautiful place, but every place has its pros and its cons. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Nkosi TV, where we talk about self-development, the law of attraction, music, and some things related to Africa. All right? Listen, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or share on any of the episodes that you encounter on this channel. What's really funny is that when I left the U.S., I left in the mindset that, I'm fed up. I left with the mentality that I was going to completely cut off my connection to the U.S. and go to Africa, where I know I'm from, because obviously they call us African Americans. And so, from that you're from Africa, through and according to the stories, about slavery and so forth, that your ancestors were taken from, that place and brought here. And we know all of that, so because of that, and everything that I've encountered in life, the not too pleasant things, I made up in my mind that I was going to take my life in my own hands and move to Africa and just try something different. And so the mindset that I left in was, my people are going to receive me. My brothers and sisters there are going to receive me. They're going to embrace me. They're going to, just welcome me home. I'm going to have a great life there, and I'll live happily ever after. And things did not turn out quite like that. And so I'll get into some of the things. I might have to do a part 2. I don't know how long this video will be. I'll try to condense it to the best of my ability, getting right to the point. But that's the mindset that I came over to Africa in. And looking back in retrospect, I don't necessarily think that it was the right or the accurate or most accurate attitude to have. And I'll tell you why. When I got to Gambia, there were a lot of good things that happened. There were a lot of not so good things that happened. But one of the things that I did not take into an account is that the people there, the indigenous people there, that they would not receive me, that they would look at me as a foreigner, even though my skin is black, even though they have knowledge of ancestors being taken from those places and being brought to places like America and Australia and Portugal and all the other places that we were taken. In fact, when I landed, and I stayed there maybe 4 or 5 months before I even recognized or realized that the roots story actually happened there, with Kuta Kente, so forth and so on. And so, I thought for sure, because that happened there, that they were knowledgeable, and that because of that, they would receive us diasporans coming from the UK, coming from Canada and various other places, the US, that they would completely receive us, only to really understand that their mindset about things were a little bit different, in the sense that we didn't speak the language, we didn't know the culture, and because our accent was different, than theirs, and we couldn't speak the language, that they would put us in the category of everybody else. We were just put in the category of foreigners and not, natives of that land who had been forced to live in another place because their ancestors were taken from that place and put in another place. So, 5-6 months in, that was a great disappointment to begin to understand and realize that that was the mindset of I'm not going to say most people. I can only make this statement based on the people that I came in contact with. And because I have a YouTube channel, because I'm a very sociable person, and because I knew a lot of people over time because of the soul food restaurant that I started, that's what I began to really come to grips with very quickly, just because of deals that I would entertain with some of the locals and so forth, and those deals would turn out sour. And it's in those times that it would really come out that, I don't really look at you as an African. I look at you as a foreigner, somebody who has, money that I can do business with that maybe could change my life. You know, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everybody or every Gambian is like that, but I did run into, you know, a lot of, or say my share of situations that I felt were really unfair, you know, and so that was a really, really big letdown. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Nkosi TV, where we talk about self-development, the law of attraction, music, and some things related to Africa. All right? Listen, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or share on any of the episodes that you encounter on this channel. However, what caused balance in it all was the success that I was able to see in Gambia with starting a soul food restaurant at the time, which was the only soul food restaurant in Gambia. You know, it caught on very well and very quickly. You know, after 3 months, I knew that I could succeed in having a restaurant there. And so a lot of the other diasporans that came from various different places, you know, UK, Jamaica, US, various other places, you know, really began to rally around me and support me. And so that made it a little bit more easier to bear because you had people that were around you. Although they were from different places, we still found common ground, you know, in a lot of areas. Particularly was that we all had guts enough to not put our toe in the water to see if it was cold, but, you know, so to speak, jump in the water, you know, without testing it or anything. And the water being an analogy for, you know, moving from where we are, you know, or where we were to Gambia. Many of us not even visiting, many of us just taking a step to go and setting our minds to, you know, decide on whether we were going to stay once we got there and experience what we were going to experience. So there were many other things that we stood on common ground with, but I think that was probably the strongest and probably the thing that caused us to be able to create a bond, because that was something that we had in common. I think also, in addition, some of the things that I mentioned previously concerning the people and their mindset about diasporas coming, you know, was another thing that we could stand on common ground with. So because of that, I began to develop a survival mentality. Even though I loved the beaches, even though I loved most of the people, you know, experiencing that pushback or that resistance, or feeling like I still have to, you know, protect myself, you know, I developed a survival mindset there. Maybe a year and a half after the success of the restaurant and so forth, my ex and I, we had some differences and so forth. She decided to leave. And all of a sudden I found myself alone in Gambia, you know, with no family, basically just friends, you know. That caused me to develop even more, because now I don't have a second pair of eyes. I don't have a partner